What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. If you're listening, this podcast is also available on YouTube. Just type in Ian Edwards or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards, and it'll pop up, and you can watch it. Other places to listen to it is on iTunes, SoundCloud, Libsyn, Stitcher, and what else? Normally I do the sponsor, but he's here, today. What up, Elvis Romero?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, man.
What's up, man? Mr. OnTheVolleyApparel.com.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we had you on before. It's been a minute. Figure have you back on again. You hit me up yesterday, just to talk shop. And what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just staying busy, man. Doing a lot more work, trying to expand the brand and get into. We're just seeing other projects we can get into, and we're doing a lot of work with like club teams and high schools and stuff like that. So we're making a lot of merch for that. So that's going really well. And then just really kind of expanding to other media platforms that. I like working with podcasts like with yours. We've been working with you for a couple of years now, so that's always been a good relationship. And yeah, just really trying to continue to grow and visit more cities and meet more people, just kind of spread the gospel of what On The Volley Apparel is. And the good thing is we have people are really receptive to what we're doing, so that's a lot of fun. It's really encouraging to see that people are really liking the gear and just they like showing support, man. So it's fun to see that.
That's dope. I like this shirt. What's this about?
That is actually something we did with the Cooligans. So there's the cool little background. I'll be quick with it. The background on that is we were in Texas for a FC Dallas event that we had that they set up over there. So I get to go along with a lot of their trips, and those are all different words in Spanish for the word straw. Straw. So
why straw?
So that's the story is we were at this Mexican spot with Christian and Alexis, and Christian is Dominican, Alexis is Cuban and Uruguayan, and I'm from El Salvador. So we're at a Mexican breakfast burrito spot, and the lady comes in and she's just we ordered our food. We have our drinks, and she comes in. She was like. She comes in, she's like, hey, how you guys doing? Would you like a popote? And then Alexis just goes, oh no, I'm okay, thank you. I'm waiting for my food already. And I was like, oh no, she means pajilla. And then Christian goes like, no, you mean absorbente. And then he goes like, and he says another word in Spanish. So that's when we realized kind of like, man, like just in Spanish alone, there's way more than those. I think there's like almost like 12 of them that we know in Latin America.
For straw.
All the different words for straw. So it's just kind of like representing the diversity in soccer. All that. So all those.
The miscommunication.
Yeah, or the diversity or miscommunication.
Like pass la pelota.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just the ball alone is so many different words that people use. So, but yeah, that's what the background on that. And then down there is a little mate. No, it's all right. Yeah, it's just a bunch of our those are the jerseys we make.
You said down where?
At the bottom of the shirt, up top, like right there. It's a mate. It's like Argentinians drink that. It's like a hot tea that they drink. So that has the little metal straw.
Oh, cool.
That has on there. So that's something that we did for them. And then also we've done a couple other things with the Cooligans as well. So the podcast that we work with, we like to make. Work on their merch, so for their supporters to kind of support the podcast and stuff like that, get them.
All right, dope. We're supposed to do some stuff, right? But
yeah,
but I'm not the easiest person to get a hold of, right?
No, man, but we got some cool designs. I think you like some of them. I just think we just got to pull the trigger on that stuff. And you just kind of, I want to make sure it's something that you're totally on board with, and kind of test the water, see what the fans will like, because your fans have been ordering like a good amount from our stuff. So that's, I think that something that specifically for your podcast would do really well.
Yeah. Gotta get that together. It's funny, like for this podcast, like when I see the numbers, I'm like, I wish they were like, there's other friends who have other podcasts that seem like they're doing like just way better. But it's funny, like no matter where I am or where I do a show, somebody will come out and they'll wear a soccer shirt, whether it be at the store or just in some state, and I'll know that they listen to the podcast, and we'll talk a little soccer afterwards. So it's reaching more people than I think. You know what I mean? And the people that are into it, they're just really into it. Like even this weekend, some guy hit me up, and on Instagram, his name is Ryan Schwartz, and our conversation was like, so I never spoke to this guy before. He's like, "Sir, would you want a signed Ander Herrera jersey tonight?" And this is when I'm in DC.
You're right.
Doing the shows. And he's like, "Come into your show in DC." And I'm like, "He coming with you?" And he's like, "Yep." Because I'm like, all right, it's one thing for somebody to bring a Man U jersey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but he said it's signed. So did he get it signed a long time ago and he's just going to give me his jersey?
Yeah.
Or does he know Ander Herrera? So then he's like, I said, "Is he coming with you?" And I said, "Always I would like a jersey." And he's like, "Yup." He answers, "Yup." So, well, guess it's going to be an amazing show. That's what I wrote back. And then he sends me a photo
of the jersey. That's tight, man. Yeah, I get into, a lot of people hit me up that they know of the brand and from our local tournaments and all that stuff, everything we do. And then they tell me, it was like, dude, I never even noticed because my girlfriend and I, or my boyfriend and I, we listened to this soccer podcast and we had no idea. And then we hear they hear our name on your ad reads. And that's what a couple people have hit me up that they just never made the connection until they actually, it was like, oh wait, that's that team that's always showing up to tournaments and stuff. And then that we're like sponsoring all that stuff. So it's been, soccer is such a close knit community, man. Like it's just kind of, it's even in small numbers, they represent really well. They flock to anything that you do. Just because you support soccer, they really want to support exactly what you're doing. So it's just, it does, I feel like it's been really well. That's why I've liked to explore all the different realms or the different like, because I just like that there's so many. It's such a diverse group. There's not a certain type of soccer fan. Like they come from all walks of life.
All walks of life.
You know, like it's just you got accountants, you got doctors, you got like just like blue collar people. Like everybody, they share this
gang members, music.
Yeah, exactly. Criminals, all that stuff, and they all have this love for the game. And that's
people
kind of
in the world. Like they got oil billionaires buying teams because they're into soccer. They have a passion for it. They want to have some. It's everybody.
And they do, and and it's always like when it comes to like soccer stuff, they might even have rival teams, but they just kind of like, they almost even put things aside and just like, oh, that's cool, and like, and they make fun of each other about the teams that they go out against, but for the most part, it's just like they appreciate that other people are supporting the game because that's what really is, especially here stateside, is the support for the game is what we really. And
that's what this podcast is about. It's about like if you love the game, you can listen to the podcast and some people might not even follow the Premiership, but at least you get to hear people who love the game talk about it. And I'm always like, like recently been like and subscribe and and because you want more people to join. But I just want to say I appreciate the people who do listen and the people who do watch and the people who do send comments. And I hope you all keep watching, listening, and sending your comments. And I take the time to go into the comment section and return some of the responses.
You do really. I like whenever you've posted the little snippets of little bits of the you do on the podcast, stuff like that. I feel those do. I like sharing those whenever you post those.
I haven't done those in a minute. I'll have to do.
Yeah, because people like gravitate, and it's just a lot of people. It's just gives them some kind of content to like gravitate towards, and they're just, and a lot of times they're just like, oh wait, like. They will to like if they just kind of knew about it a little bit more, especially with our following. Like we have.
So you're saying I need to promote better?
I like the snippets. They just do really well, man. Right. It's a lot of times it's like with the gear in the background or like just talking about something that's going on, like current events in soccer, like just like little bit. Hey, here's what happened this weekend. It's just like here's what's on the show, and like people just respond really well, and then they're just like, hey man, I people have told me that they've been turned on to your podcast because of the stuff that I've been like sharing and stuff like that. And so that's really fun to see, and obviously I'm gonna share the hell out of this one too because I want all my.
Why? Because you're in it.
I want to bother all my friends and make them listen to my voice again.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Last time you were on, people loved it. There's like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Blah blah blah.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So it was like a good word of mouth. So let me just before I go from this on the volley apparel banner. If you want to get some stuff there, men's tees, hoodies, tanks, jerseys, hats. He's in the hat arena. Go there, use my promo code Comic Rant. You get 20% off. And yeah, man, you got some. Who's designing the stuff? You have a designer.
I have a crew. Pretty much, I have like it fluctuates, but usually it's at least 2 guys that are helping me with a lot of graphic design. It just we do a lot of custom stuff too for like teams. If there's a local team, if you're on either a club team or just a rec league team, and you want some custom gear done, we're really good about keeping all that stuff affordable, and we do custom artwork for. We don't just sell our stuff that's on the site. We outfit your whole squad really too, and we do stuff for high school spirit packs and stuff for clubs and high schools, like just making their hoodies and all their merch.
Recently started like doing some stuff for some high schools and stuff.
Yeah, that's done really well for us too, because like the parents.
Let me see some of your high school stuff.
The website would be actually you can click down towards it a little bit, like
scroll down on this.
Yeah, I think there should be some. It's just because the thing is we build landing pages for the high schools that isn't on the site. I can send you a link so you can check it out, but it's not accessible to the site. Okay. So we build you your own page that you send out to the family members and parents, and then they have a link to it, but it's just not available because we want to make sure that only the people who are affiliated with that school are the ones purchasing.
And you just brought me this. This is the sweater version of. Oh, that's dope.
The Strike and Defend. That's an old cool. Skate and Destroy flip that we did.
Right. So that's dope. I'll be rocking that. Block me out of the camera. I'm gonna be warm at the coffee shop writing. I got to go to Missouri this weekend to do shows.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I know you preferred hoodies, but I think you have all the other hoodies that we have. We got to come out with some new stuff. Right. That shirt.
I love this shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you have that one already?
I think so, but I'll take it. I'll take 2.
Yeah.
Striker.
A striker shirt. Yeah. And that's I spoke with the Cooligans. Christian asked me to bring you one of their shirts. They're the gulliest shirts that we did for their
gray
podcast.
One?
Yeah.
Man, Christian, I want this bullshit. No, I'm just kidding. We'll be rocking it, son. I like shirts with shit on the sleeve.
Yeah, they got that one.
That's dope, man. It adds like another dimension to the shirt.
Yeah, it's the gulliest soccer podcast.
I'll be rocking it. Yeah, they're doing good.
Yeah, they're doing well, man. I'm gonna be in Costa Rica tomorrow with them for CONCACAF Champions League. That's just a different size in the sweater.
All right, cool, dope. Who's playing?
It's NYCFC is playing against. I have it right here. Yeah, they're playing against some team. They're called San Carlos.
San Carlos.
Alejua is the city that they're in.
How good did NYCFC do last year?
Not.
What do you have to finish to get into the CONCACAF Champions League?
I think I want to say top. It's just kind of like same as like top 3 to 4 maybe. Right. Is because
So New York FC did good last year.
Yeah, they were up there for sure. They were doing well. They unfortunately got eliminated a little bit early in playoffs. But I really like NYC. I'm a little partial to them because of the Cooligans, so I like supporting them through that. So it's fun to like really just work on just work with them on a lot of stuff. And then so with their team, they're really passionate about the NYCFC over there, and I just it's just tough for them because
the Cooligans don't pick sides though, right? They cover the entire MLS.
They're clear about their support of NYCFC, but they do a lot of stuff. I've been to Red Bulls games with them, and I've been to they really just like supporting. It's all American soccer, and then even they like Everton and Arsenal as well. Like they kind of support. It's all of football really, but mainly U.S. soccer.
Right.
So yeah, they try to remain a little unbiased, but they are definitely NYCFC.
Tell them when they come into town to do this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. We'll everybody's going to be in town for MLS All-Star, so that's going to be a lot of fun. There's got a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff in the works with them that they want to work on for MLS All-Star. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's a big weekend, and for me, it's in our backyard, so I'm already going to be here. I don't have
to. That's going to be dope. Maybe I'll come down. I've been going to you know me a lot more MLS games. Before I was like MLS, and then it's just time constraints. Like it just only had time to like really focus on like the European League, but since the LAFC opened up and you went down, I've been down to the facility and just the whole vibe is just
that's one of the things that I've been really
convert you.
Impressed about, like how you did, because like I remember from the first time you did the Cooligans podcast, you were shitting on MLS, man, and and to me, I wasn't even offended by it. I thought it was hilarious because not only were you shitting on the league, you were shitting on Christian and Alexis for liking the league and just you don't have time for this and just kind of like, and they're like, why you wouldn't just go for games? Like, I got so many other things to do. I don't need to waste time to, and it was just hilarious. It was just this big roast on American and MLS, and it was hilarious. Talking. And then come to find out, like, just as soon as LAFC comes in, you get tickets, you're just like, LAFC for life now, and just kind of like,
it changed my mind, man. They listen, I still stand by what I say.
I bet you
I don't have time to deal with something like, I like, when it comes to soccer, top class soccer, right?
Yeah. No,
so I don't have time to watch like anything that's not on that cut,
the cream of the crop,
right? So when I go to LAFC game, they're up there, and I can't be like they're not, because it's an MLS team.
The vibe is, I'll give it to them. The vibe is there, everything, man.
They have everything there,
man. It's so much fun to
go
to
it's like,
games.
Okay, I can make time for this.
Yeah,
they made me make time for it.
And it's dope because you hit me up every now and then when you're going to the games just to find out if I'm going to be there, and then we'll meet up and all that stuff, man. And I just think that the way that LAFC has set up and the way the rest of the league is growing, I think it's and
there's other good teams in the MLS.
I think there's good Atlanta, opportunity to really like kind of build something around that, and the league is in their like kind of almost juvenile years still, to where we're able to kind of help mold. That's why I like working with like the Cooligans and other podcasts that we're doing, because the league is growing so much right now, and it's it's not overly saturated. So we're able to, if we do things correctly and like have good ideas and create content, we're help not only grow with the league, but we're helping the league grow. Like we're almost at the forefront of the expansion of soccer here in America, because it's such at a basal level that it's not a big challenge to where it's like NFL or the European soccer or at the EPL over there. If we try to start a podcast, it's just overly saturated. You're drowning in all the other content that's where for the US there's not as much content here, or like podcasts and everything, so it's not as difficult to make a name for yourself here. And that's why I have I like working on different projects here that are like more stateside.
Maybe I should switch leagues. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I should start talking about the MLS, but I do want to do something with LAFC. That's how much I love the LAFC.
Yeah, man,
I do want to do something with them. Me and you have thought of stuff before. We just haven't gotten to it. And also I've been talking to somebody over at LAFC about at the least having some of their players on this podcast, but also just doing something with them for just the LAFC. It's just dope, man.
Yeah, the stuff that we talked about, I think we can base it around the LAFC, and even, to be honest, like just it doesn't have to be just LAFC, but we can base it around the stuff that we've talked about. I think can really definitely hit if we get it started early enough in the season to get just some dope content, and really, because people love it, man. There's the support for soccer here is really on the rise, and we can really build something dope around that, especially with your following. And it's just dope to see soccer growing the way it is, and to be part of it is a lot of fun.
Well, it's just fun, and I'll definitely keep. And let's see, LAFC, and they got other teams out there that are doing a good job in the MLS. Let's see if my loyalty just to the whole entire MLS, let's see if it expands. Let's see if it makes me make time for it.
That's what I think it did for me. My mindset when it was for support of American soccer, I used to always complain about how much support the league didn't have. And at the same time, I wasn't going to games. So I was just like, wait, I'm kind of being a little bit of a hypocrite, complaining about their support, not being there, and also not supporting. So that's when I was like, no, I'm going to make time for it. I'm going to make sure that I go support. I was like, I took it upon myself to make it part of my, like, what I do, and like almost like a work routine. And I realized that I was like, hey man, this is actually a lot of fun. I've been going to all kinds of different cities and meeting all kinds of people, and the growth with our fans has been increasing every time we go to a city. Now it's almost like any MLS city that we go to, we have people out there who know about us and who welcome us and just kind of show us around town, help us out to get to games, and it's really dope to see. And I just think that's that's why I'm like really strong proponent of like increasing the support for the game here stateside anyway, because we live here, man. This is what we do. It'd be dope to get, if we're inching closer to what it's like in Europe, even if it's at a snail's pace.
But I like what's going on here because I've had some good positive soccer encounters, but it's the good thing about the MLS, like people love it, but not enough to hurt each other over it. So it's like the vibe is just more family friendly.
They're few and far between. There is a little bit. The LA versus LA is pretty gnarly. NYC and Red Bulls, they do not like each other, but it's few and far between for sure.
Few and far between, and those are to me like pretenders. You want to be like. I remember living in Long Island and being in one of those suburb towns. Everybody wanted to be Brooklyn, so they tried to do some Brooklyn shit, and it's like you're just trying to make some noise. I think so that your town is respected, but it's like just chill.
It started at a kind of like a faux rivalry. Just like I just don't feel that they were really getting the LA versus LA rivalry. Like they were just choosing to not like each other, but there wasn't really much reasoning to like just kind of the whole.
They just chose to not like each other because Clipper fans don't like Lakers.
Yeah,
the history of other sports.
They were forcing the animosity.
You're not supposed to like this other.
There needs to be a little bit more history, but in time, like with if they meet in playoffs and
now
having more and more games,
now the hate is real.
It's starting to get a little bit real. Like they had there was like these little recreational like leagues that were having the LAFC and LA Galaxy both entered teams in this league out in LA at Urban Futsal that when we were out there, and they had a rivalry week. And
who played for those teams?
Ex LA LA Galaxy players, and then like people from media, and they hired they would get other supporters. Like
I mentioned, talk about Urban Futsal because I did an interview with them for them over there. And then you do stuff with them.
I help with I do some of their events. I've hosted FIFA video game like tournaments there, and also I've done their baller night.
But just say what they are,
it's a futsal facility. Like they're run by Adidas, and I'm sponsored by Adidas, and so it's just they have 2 indoor futsal courts and the DJ booth, and like they're able to they have food there all the time. So every last Friday of the month, I think it is, that they host a baller night where it's free to come and hang out, but you just pay if you want to play and everything. So they do the environment and the vibe that they have there is a lot of fun, man. It's really cool. I like working with them a lot. It's a little out of my way a little bit because it's always a 45-minute drive from where I'm at, but it's worth it every time to do it every few weeks and all that stuff. And they have leagues that I've helped teams enter into, and we do, and I love entering their tournaments too. Their tournaments are a lot of fun. Last year, this one that just passed, we didn't do as well as the year before. Last year, we won men's and co-ed, and that was a lot of fun. We entered last minute, and we came and took down both, so that was a lot of.
How many games did you play?
It was each team for men's and co-ed. We played 5 games each.
5 games each.
3 games in group, and then semi and final.
Oh, that's cool. It's not too demanding.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was for a few of the guys that were playing in co-ed and women's.
Oh, okay.
And co-ed and men's, so that was a couple, but overall it was a lot of fun. And then they give you food and there's booze and everything, so everybody's just like partying.
How much is for like a team to enter that one of those leagues?
I want to say it's like $250. I think it was like $250 to enter per team. Yeah, so it's like that. And so like the tournaments that I host a lot of tournaments over at the Upland Arena. That's where more local to where I host all my tournaments there, because they have 2 indoor facilities, and they're really it's like 6-a-side size fields, and I like hosting those tournaments because it spreads awareness about our brand, but I like giving away cash prizes. That's what we give away. Yeah, well, it's just, I mean, it pays for itself. I don't focus on making money on these, because if I was worried about the bottom dollar, I would not be doing any kind of tournament thing.
Very un-American of you.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun to just host the tournaments, and if it's run well, it pays for itself, and I just I break even, and that's kind of like what my goal is for the most part, to host tournaments. I'm working on my next tournament in the next few months. and should be a lot of fun. But teams come from pretty far, man. We've had teams come out from like Berkeley up north and San Diego, Orange County, all over LA County too, to come and play in my tournament. So we're long overdue for one of those. And FIFA does my FIFA tournaments do well too.
All right, that's dope. So let's get back to Europe a little bit. And so you've heard a lot of news and you know a lot about some of the stuff that's going on in Europe, even though you're mainly MLS and American soccer, but you still, have your eyes and ears just everywhere soccer-wise.
Yeah.
And
man.
what do you think about this fair play ban, this 2-year Man City ban from Champions League? Is the financial fair play? They broke the rules?
I mean, they definitely did break the rules. I just think that they're trying
How
to...
do you know? You know what they're saying?
What?
So I read somebody sent me this article maybe a year ago.
Uh-huh.
So there's this guy, I think he's Portuguese. He's a hacker. So he hacked, I forgot where he hacked, but he got all these files. And this guy, I think he's in jail now for the hacking.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
But in the files were the emails between, the emails that kind of damaged and proved that Man City was doing illegal shit and funneling money in from other places and inflating how much they made so that they can spend more money on their team.
Yeah.
So, but one of Man City's defenses is that they were hacked. And it's like, who's to say that these were our emails? And if somebody hacked us, they could have lied.
Yeah.
And in the information. And so that's one of their fights.
I would say that's definitely a possibility, but for the most part, I think that all.
But I believe you. I believe that's some bullshit.
Yeah, I just think that that's a stretch. You know what I mean? But I think that for the most part, these teams are up to something. Everybody's up to something.
Yes.
It's just that they just kind of got caught.
Yeah.
And they made an example of them. They give them 2 years, like we were talking about earlier. That I don't know how long it's going to be upheld for banning a team like Man City for 2 years from all European competition. Like it's just all UEFA stuff. It's just not. I just don't see it holding up, especially with the kind of money and clout that they have. I think that it's just going to be, it's only a matter of time before it gets appealed and maybe even reduced. Maybe they'll only do 1 year, but 2 years of no, and then they're still in the EPL. Like, I just don't, Well, the EPL now is supposed to hit them with some shit, because if you lied to the European board, you lied to the EPL too.
Yeah. So they're supposed to get hit with something too.
Yeah,
But I've heard that a lot of different people talk about it, right? And Gary Neville, who used to be a Man U player, owns a team called Shrewsbury.
Uh-huh.
So he owns a team now, and he was like, financial fair play. He knows why it was implemented and what it was supposed to do. It's supposed to make sure teams don't spend more than they make,
right,
so that they don't go broke. Because a lot of teams went broke, and some went bankrupt, and some just went plummeting down to lower divisions. Some couldn't pay their players. So it's supposed to prevent that. But there's other ways. But some owners are richer than their teams, and they can constantly funnel money into their teams, and the rules of financial fair play prevent them from doing that. So he's saying that there's ways for owners, or for them to check to see how much money owners have, and for stuff to be bonded so that the money that they say they have and that they can use is kind of like the powers that be are ensured that the owners have this money, it's not a lie, and that they can, okay, go ahead, spend all that money on your team.
That's all you set your budget, basically.
So there's a way to do it. But hey, just the same way they have these rules, right?
Yeah.
And Man City agreed to abide by the financial pay and then lied and didn't.
Mm-hmm.
The same way, I know he's saying you could be bonded, and there's ways to make sure people have the money that they say they have so that they can spend it, even if it's like, I just feel like they could lie about that too.
Yeah.
And some teams will still go broke spending more than their means.
Exactly.
But his point is also, you can't catch up to the teams that are already ahead of you if you abide by the financial fair play rules.
Yeah,
So
because they got up there. These rules were implemented after the fact, after the Man U's and Man City's already got there. So they were able to climb the ladder
after the Man U's
with no rules.
And the Abramoviches and all that stuff. Yeah.
With no rules, they got to get to the top. And now they're like, well, yeah, let's make things fair now that we're up here.
Right.
So keeping the bottom teams at the bottom.
Well, a bunch of teams went broke, like legendary teams too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I get it, but it's like VAR. It's a good idea, but you got to apply it right. And financial fair play is a good idea, but you got to apply that shit.
Yeah, Chelsea's not too happy with VAR after this weekend.
I will get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. So and then here we have like Sterling. He's committed to Man City despite the European ban. He said he'll stay 2 years. And Guardiola, like there was doubts that this guy was going to stay past this year.
Yeah,
and now there's this ban. And everybody knows the thing that he wants to win the most is Champions League. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And now, if he doesn't win this season, right?
Yeah.
Then if he doesn't win this season, he's not going to be able to win for 2 years. So
I just think win or not, he's out.
You think win or not, he's out?
I think win or not, he's out because I don't see Guardiola going to. If they don't win this year, that means it's 3 seasons of not winning.
But he's won other stuff.
Sure, that's not the
Guardiola way.
Yeah, well, it's not the trophy that you want. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like that's cool. All the silverware, just throw it on the pile. Like he's not worried about anything but the Champions League title. You know what I mean? Like it's just unless he goes into he wants to get in on the World Cup cycle and like manage a team for the World Cup. But that's the only thing that would be bigger than Champions League.
I think. He said he'll stay 2 years past the ban. Right?
Yeah, he said.
No, let me finish. He said he'll stay past the ban, but if Man City, the only thing they can really win that of significance this year is the Champions League. They're not going to win the Premiership.
No,
but if they just went all in, focused, and won the Champions League, then he can go back on him saying, "I'm staying for the 2 years. I won you the Premiership. Now I've won you the Champions League. I don't have to stay for 2 years."
And they can work on that appeal to like reduce stuff. And hopefully it's only 1 year. I don't think it's going to hold up for 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
And Jamie Carragher said something very interesting. He's like, what if Man City, who's banned, right, from Champions League for the next 2 years coming so far. There's like 4 or 5 appeals. There's like endless appeals they got. But they're banned right now. What if they win Champions League this year? The same people who banned them have to hand them the trophy.
Well, not just
for this
that.
Season.
Aren't you automatically in?
No, they won't be. The good news for the other teams in the league is that, like, Man City's in second place right now.
Right.
I think they play somebody big next week.
Yeah, they're 24 behind Liverpool. And then 3 ahead of Leicester.
Let's see who Man City. They play West Ham next week, but they're ahead. It's just that if I forgot my train of thought, but the people who banned them will have to hand them the trophy that they don't deserve to get because they cheated to get that trophy.
Yep.
So that's just a weird, funny scenario that Carragher brought up. That is pretty interesting. What do you think should happen? Where you at on this?
I'm partial to all things Guardiola. I've loved him ever since his Barcelona days and all that stuff, and even as a player.
That's honest.
And I just feel like it's kind of not his fault. So I'm just saying let him play because what does he have to do with it? You know what I mean? I'm sure he's been in those meetings. Yeah, the club is like...
And those are his boys, or the boys that run and get all the players, and they're from his Barcelona days. They slid over to Man City and he got him over there. So,
and honestly, if it were up to me, what I would like for him to do is just do this Champions League run and then bail at the end of the year and then just find a new team. But that's just because I could care less about Man City. Like I just don't. I mean, I like.
Who's your team in the EPL?
It's always varied, like depending on what Americans we're playing and stuff. Like I've liked Fulham, I like Everton, you know. So like I'd like Man U when Tim Howard was there. So I don't have
for that week. Tim Howard was there
for that week. Yeah. So I just been teams. I kind of like the league overall. I think it's one of the grittier leagues in probably the grittiest. Like it's tough. Like I think it's the litmus tests about like how much heart you have is if you can survive at EPL, you can pretty much survive anywhere. Right. It's just a whole different animal because it's not for the faint of heart to be playing. Like soft players can't play in the EPL, and it's tough out there, man. You got grinders out there that just really come after you, and I like the EPL for that reason.
All right. As a Man U fan, it doesn't, like, as a Man U fan, it doesn't even matter to me the way it should. The thing that does matter is they're banned. So that means we're in, let me see where we are. Let me be clear about this. We are in 7th place, right? Mm-hmm. And before, we would have to fight, even though Chelsea's only 3 points ahead of us, we'd have to not just catch Chelsea, but make sure we beat the 2 teams ahead of us and maybe a team or 2 behind us. Mm-hmm. Especially like Everton has Ancelotti now. He's doing really good over there, and they're just winning. And the Wolves, they're a very difficult team. And the Sheffield team that's ahead of us, and Spurs with Mourinho. So like, and Chelsea. So this opens up an extra spot that, because no matter where City finishes,
they're out,
and there's an extra spot. So it just gives us a chance to qualify for the Champions League by finishing 5th, besides winning the Europa League. So that's good.
Yeah, I think a team's going to get in just for, get in out of 5th, but they're also banned from Europa League as well.
Chelsea, City.
So even further down,
they banned themselves from Europa League.
Well, for sure,
because they never finish below 4th to get in the Europa League.
So now, like a 7th or 8th place team can get into Europa League now. I think it's all the way through 7th.
Like a 7th, I guess. 7th or 8th. Yeah.
So now an 8th or 9th place team is going to possibly get in. So it's more encouraging for the teams, in the middle of the table. Is like they got a little bit extra to fight for now that there's just an extra spot that's just been vacated. So I think that makes it a lot of fun.
Wolves can make it, and anybody in that, Arsenal could slide up there and make it. So
it makes it more interesting too, because then you add the relegation battle at the very bottom too. So it's just like there's a lot more to play for, because of this.
That's the funny thing about Americans. Like it's all about making things more interesting. Meanwhile, I'm happy with things the way they are. Like I this doesn't interest me more or less. You know what I mean?
But it's just
like the way everything is already set up is fine for me. I need to focus and not have other wrinkles.
I mean, the setup is the setup, but what I like is that there's teams who would not be fighting for these spots, who are just like a little bit more encouraged to really just like, hey man, let's get to that 7th or 8th spot. Let's try to get, because the bonuses that come in with their sponsors and like player bonuses, if you guys qualify for Europa or for Champions League, people are getting paid, man. And that's it changes the dynamic for a lot of these teams, like who are barely trying to hold on to sponsors and players and all that stuff, and then now all of a sudden you're qualifying for Europa and Champions League, and it's just like, all right, that's a game changer for these middle of the table teams.
I mean, I think the league has changed. There's already teams that wouldn't be in the conversation for these spots. They're already there. Like Leicester's up there. Sheffield United is in 6th in a Europa League spot, but they could actually get a Champions League spot. And so's Wolves and Everton, who's, and then Arsenal's behind, so they belong there, but they're not there yet.
Yeah.
And Burnley's like right behind them. Just like, look where Southampton is. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, it's getting there. It just makes it a lot more interesting for teams to get really. I think it's. I know you don't like saying that. It makes it more interesting because you're interested no matter what.
I'm interested no matter what.
Yeah. But I just think that it gives it these small. I like the smaller teams getting their shot at the big games. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun to see all this. Like when Leicester won their title out of nowhere, that was really dope to see. Right. I thought that was just like, they had their little Cinderella story.
A clean title. You hear that, Man City? No cheating. Leicester won clean, fair and square.
Yeah, they did. Man.
Can be done. Speaking of, this is not cheating, but a lot of decisions were made or not made during the Chelsea versus Man City game. And my friend texted me, Lloyd, he was like, we got lucky. Yeah. He said, man, you got lucky. We won 2-0. But I think we got lucky before the game. That's the biggest luck was when I saw, right? The luck was not during the game with the calls going our way. The luck was at the beginning of the game when you saw the Chelsea lineup and their forward line of Willian, Batshuayi, and Pedro. No goals. There's no goals
for the season.
Willian has some. Batshuayi's a bench player, and Pedro, he's kind of lost his. He's older. He's lost his sharpness. So all their goals were injured. In like Tammy Abrams, their leading scorer. So that to me, that was the break. Not Harry Maguire maybe getting a red, and then not getting a red, which I didn't think should be a red, and everybody keeps comparing it to a play that happened with Son. Yeah, when he got shoved. And I just felt like he felt the guy was going to fall on top of him, so he stuck his legs out to protect him, which is completely different than Son got fouled or pushed to the ground or lost the ball and kicked the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a whole different.
That's a whole different thing. And so they keep showing it and saying there's discrepancies, but it's the action is the same, but the intent is different. You know, one is to protect yourself and one was to hurt or the other person. So I believe Harry Maguire when he said he hit the floor. Now, there was a goal that was disallowed.
Lampard.
Well, there was a goal. Yeah, a goal. Well, there's a goal.
Well, he was complaining about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was disallowed because Aspilicueta, who I think scored the goal, shoved the player that would have headed the cross out. But he shoved Williams because he got shoved.
Yeah, he returned the shove.
Yeah, well,
so initially should have been a PK. It should theoretically.
Well, the shove wouldn't have been a PK, but the shove threw him off balance, and so he's about to run into Williams, who's about to head the ball out, and he shoves Williams, and the ball goes over his head, and then
I didn't see the timing of it, but you don't think it would have possibly been a PK? I mean,
because the shove to Aspilicueta was like, it wasn't like, it's just like a football shove, you know what I mean? Like, it's
like, this is my space. Let me have,
it's like, you just don't call fouls for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
but it definitely put him off balance. I think Fred shoved him. But yeah, you know what, Chelsea? You should have got that goal, but you didn't. And I'm not
You still lost
sad.
by 2.
And you still lost by 2. And you would have lost by 1. But it could have turned the tide of the game.
Yeah.
And then they got another call. They scored another goal, but that was definitely offside. So then the fans were pissed and they started walking out.
You hear what Lampard said about the VAR thing? He's like, how everybody around the world seems to have VAR figure out, but EPL just cannot get their thumb on it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like
That's what he said?
Yeah, like they just can't. Like, how is it that a big league so big, like, just can't figure it out? Like, it's just, but, I mean, I don't know. I like VAR sometimes. I just can't.
I like VAR. It's like, listen, there's nothing wrong with VAR. It's the people who are controlling it.
Yeah.
And the reason why they got VAR is because the people who were controlling football and ruling football without VAR looked like they needed some help and were getting stuff wrong. But if you use those same people and give them VAR, they get VAR wrong. So it's not, so people are like, it's not VAR itself, it's still the human error.
Yeah. It's the humans who are basically just fucking it up. Like, it's just, I don't understand what they're like. They're still going to tweak it into...
And it's the first year.
Yeah. Is it really the first year only?
The first year of VAR, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's going to be some stuff to tweak for sure, but...
Yeah, the goal line technology worked. So that works. Nobody questions it.
Yeah.
So this is the first year of VAR, and it needs some tweaking. Some people are like, some of the offsides are too close. They should give people a certain amount of centimeters to be offside. And I feel like, hey man, offside is offside.
Yeah, that's not
by a toe, an inch, or whatever. It's offside.
It's a matter of physics.
Because how much of somebody's body do you give to be offside but not offside? You're like, people like, they should just, if it's that close, you shouldn't call it. But that's what it's for, so you could make the close calls.
Yeah, it's I think that's black and white. You can't go. There's no gray area when it comes to offside. Mm-hmm. You're either on or you're off. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I can't budge on that one. I was like, I like to be able to go to video and VAR, like to be able to find out if someone's actually, because the linesmen can make mistakes on that stuff. Because like, you're watching the play and then you look real quick and it's like, oh, he's not offside, or he is. Oh, and they just guess. So like, I'm pretty sure he was offside.
Right.
So they raise their flag and I'm just like, come on, man. And then you watch the replay and they're like, oh, maybe he wasn't. You know, like,
yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot of goals that have been given or taken away because of that, and it really it affects the outcome of the game.
Well, a big offside this week was when Leicester played Wolves. Mm-hmm. So Leicester's playing Wolves. Leicester gets a corner. I think it's a corner, right? They pass the ball. So the guy takes a short corner. He passes it to me, right? Mm-hmm. It's Wolves. Wolves gets a corner. They pass it to me, right? So I pass it not to the player who passed it to me, but I pass it in his path that way. So he runs from offside to get the ball. When I passed the ball, his foot was offside. So I'm not passing it to him offside to a traditional offside position. I'm passing it to him out of an offside position, but he, at the moment of the pass, his foot was offside. So he got the ball, crossed it in. His teammate headed it back across the goal. Another teammate put it in the goal. Yeah. The Wolves are celebrating. They're up 1-0. And then they find this offside thing that nobody else would have spotted.
Yeah,
and the place, everybody's pissed. But it's offside.
Yeah, I just think it's offside. To me, it's just like, you were involved in a play at an offside position. You're ineligible. Yeah. Until you get behind the defense. Right. You're not allowed to make a play on the ball. Like, you could have dummied it and just let it go.
Would have went outside.
Yeah, and it wouldn't went outside. But like, it's just, you affected the place from an offside position. Right. I just think it's a clear rule. Like, just don't be there. Like, it's literally just like, hey, how do I prevent this?
Come back quicker.
Yeah, like, you're just,
you're offside when you pass the ball to your teammate. You know, if they pass it back, come back quicker.
Yeah. Just let them know, just don't give them, it's like, hey, you're offside. I'm not going to send you this ball. But like, it's just, and for them to go back so far and to really do it, they do that. It's tough, man.
It was a reasonable amount of time to go back because it was all involved in the play of the actual
and the way
goal.
The rule's written too is just like from when the ball is played, coming off the passer's foot, as soon as the ball's played, and that where are you at that exact moment is what determines offside. Like, it doesn't matter if it goes all the way across the other field, but when it was, and you run across and get onside and go get that same ball, you still started in an offside position, so it doesn't.
Offside, baby.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard also what's going on with Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola. But he there's lots of shots being fired, and he said he made a speech or tweeted something that said Paul Pogba is not the property of Manchester United's manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's what his agent said. The agent, some of the world's best players, including Pogba and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, have suggested that the French international, that's something else, blah, 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 blah. But Mino Raiola is so emotional that he's the agent. He's the agent of Pogba. And I think he's taken something like Pogba said, that Solskjaer said in a press conference before the Chelsea game, out of context. He's talking about Solskjaer sounding like he's a slave master or something, that he owns Paul Pogba and everybody's free. This is a freak. He has the right to do what he wants. And it's like, no, we're paying this guy
to
be on our team, and he hasn't played. And you're getting your checks, so you can't get paid for what you're not doing.
Yeah.
So that's what he means. And then, but Mino Raiola is taking it completely out of context, and he's like, I'm a free citizen who can think and express my thoughts. Until now, I was maybe nice to him. Solskjaer should just remember things that he said in the summer to Paul. Now, I don't know what that part means. And he said, I think Solskjaer may be frustrated for different reasons and is now mixing up some issues.
Yeah.
I think that Solskjaer has other things to worry about. At least if I was him, I would. And I think he's talking about Solskjaer looking like he might get fired. And any Solskjaer getting fired is linked to Paul Pogba, because if Pogba was playing and if you weren't interfering in Paul's head, then he'd be probably playing and we'd be further in the table.
So it's not injury related why he's not playing. It's like,
say again.
It's not injury related.
Well,
it's
there was a point when he looked like he was healthy, but then he said he was going to get another surgery because his people said he should get another surgery, and those people is this guy, and this guy wants to sell Pogba again, because when he sells him again, he makes more money.
Yeah,
and he can make like a $20 million chunk. You know,
yeah, that's so crazy.
So this agent shit. But I love Pogba.
Yeah.
But I want him gone, because I can look at what Liverpool did when they sold their best player, Coutinho, and they used the money to buy players that were not considered as good, and they got like 3 players for that, and those players have like made Liverpool better. They won a Champions League, a World Club competition, and now they might break the record for the most points in a Premiership season ever. So I don't mind selling Pogba and getting the money for him and doing some good with it.
Yeah, let him get paid. If he's not happy and people aren't happy with him, like, why stay at a shitty job?
Yeah.
Like, why? Just leave. Like, if you don't like the people you work with, you don't like the people you work for, just end it. Like, let's just be done with it. Take your pay cut and then just sign somewhere else and get your money back then.
And I think we'll sell him, right?
Yeah.
But we just don't want to. We needed him to help us get through the season. So, if you help us get to the Champions League spot, listen, you're stuck. Real Madrid spent all their money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Juventus spent a ton of money in the off season. You can't. So are you looking at this rationally yourself, and also as a player and as an agent? The places you could go, like Real Madrid spent money on Hazard. They bought a bunch of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And Juventus bought a bunch of motherfuckers and spent money. And I don't know what the other possible places are, but you want to go back to some team that's on top. And
who's out there to spend that kind of money?
Who's out there to spend that type of money?
Barcelona's not going to do something
Barcelona's
like that.
not going to do it. So just at least do yourself some honor and come back and be a good player for Man U. And so you could leave and the fans be like, well, at least
he showed up.
He showed up and he did this. And I know that some of the fans are assholes and have been overly demanding and have not appreciated you, but that's just a part of being a man.
Yeah, and it's just like not everyone's gonna like you at work, man.
Not everyone likes my podcast, and they don't listen to it. But I keep doing this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You gotta keep going to work.
For the people that do love it, because there's people that do and did love you, but that not. This is just not a good look for such a bright person who had such a likable personality. Yeah. This is like
he's really marketable too.
And this is terrible marketability. To be that guy.
Yeah, hopefully they sort that out, because he's a good asset for the league and for Man United. I just think that if they sort that stuff out and just get whatever they can out of it and just salvage the season, stay in Champions League, and then part ways at the end of the year.
Right. I'm just glad. Like, I don't know if you saw the Chelsea game today, but you saw some of the stuff the Chelsea made. I just like the Bruno Fernandes thing. It's his second game. They went to training, and we didn't play the best today, but we won that game, and he had an assist in it. And Fred was like the worst player, and now he's like just bleeding red for Man U. Like he's everywhere. Like first he couldn't even keep up with the pace of the game, right?
Yeah.
Now this motherfucker is like
Dictating
making tackles, intercepting shit, and also at least starting the offense. And so he's turned into this dude who I think rubs off on other Man U players.
Yeah, he seems to be like taking a leadership role and wanting to just kind of like, hey, this is what, like, he's playing for the crest.
Yeah,
like where
definitely.
Yeah, he wants to show the fans and ownership, and then maybe it's a contract year too, like
maybe.
Yeah,
but
but still though, he's performing, and it's good to see players like that who really take control and like want to like lead the team and lead by example to really like just kind of, because Man U is, I mean, they're still at the upper half of the league, but at the table, but they need to climb.
We need consistency.
Yeah. At least by Man U standards, anyway.
Yeah, and let me just run through some scores, and then we could talk about like what do you think is going to be happening in the Champions League tomorrow. So Leicester and Wolves 0-0. And let's see the games. Norwich, Liverpool won again.
Yeah.
They did their thing. They've got 76 points, I think, out of a possible 78 points.
24 points up, man.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how many games left, but it's just, that's insane.
If you minus 26 from 38.
Yeah.
How many games is left on that? 26 from 38? 12 games left. Yeah.
That's...
I mean, we'll see. Fuck it. If they're going to do it in style. I'm a Man U fan, but I want to see this.
Yeah.
I want to say I saw this.
But it's an unprecedented, and to do it, normally you would think that after winning a Champions League, there's like a layoff afterwards where they just kind of like, hey, we've been partying all summer. But no, they've come back even stronger this year than they were last year.
More determined, yeah.
Yeah, and just that they're showing that it wasn't a fluke for them to have won that Champions League, and it's fun. They're a fun team to watch. I'm not really partial to Liverpool myself, but it is fun to watch them. Just like to see somebody just be that dominant in Europe is dope. Really, really dope.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm a Man U fan, but I love football, and Liverpool is a fun watch. It's like a fun total football watch. Like everybody just working, and then it's good to watch them. Just so if you're building a team or your team needs help, you see what they're doing right that you could implement. It's like going to hear somebody from a successful company give a speech about how to build a successful company. You want to learn, know. And I think Solskjaer should be watching Liverpool games. I think every Man U player should be watching Liverpool games.
I like a lot about this.
To Klopp's press conference, and then one thing. Listen, I believe in Ollie, right? As a coach, but there are certain things you need to be like a great coach. Like Klopp is a great coach because. Not because of what is the results on the field, but I know he's a great coach because when you interview him in a press conference, the shit that he says, it's like, that's exactly what you should say. Yeah,
you're not going to bully him and intimidate him into like ask him tough questions. He knows the ins and outs on how to talk to press.
But he knows the answer, the perfect answer to a question. Yeah. Now, Ollie, at the end of the Chelsea game, we won the game. And they asked him about what Mino Raiola said. And he said, if I have anything to say to if I'm going to talk to Mino Raiola, I won't speak to him through the press. I will talk to him. Then they're like, are you going to talk to him? And he's like, well, not really. And it's like, that's the wrong answer.
Yeah. No, that's
the wrong answer. So I'm like, the person who gives that answer is coaching Man U.
Yeah.
And you need, you have to know what to say.
Yeah.
At the right times because these things are important. It helps build, like Klopp knows what to say and when to say it when asked or when a situation arises so that he can keep encouraging his players. Like for him to Ollie look like he was backing down in front of the reporter, backing down from Mino Raiola.
It looks weak.
It looks weak. And it's like, the players in the locker room might see this interview.
Our coach said what?
It doesn't look great, man. So this is why, like, I'm trying to root for Ollie, but this is not a good look.
Yeah. I mean, like him or not, remember, you know about Guardiola and Mourinho. Love them or hate them, those dudes know how to talk to press.
Yeah.
You're never going to corner them into a situation to where they're like, oh, he said the wrong thing there.
Right.
Like, Mourinho says the right thing every time. It might sound insane, but you're talking about it and no one's walking out just like, oh, he completely lost his hand. No, like, Mourinho is always like,
Mourinho loses it sometimes.
Yeah, but he's still, oh, that's just Mourinho. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, no one's like, he keeps getting job after job after job, man.
Because of his former resume, but like he's fucked up.
Yeah,
he's fucked up.
But not to like that. He doesn't look weak. Like he might fuck up, but no one's ever gonna say it's like, oh, Mourinho can't handle himself in the press.
Yeah, he didn't look great at Man U. I'll tell you that. He did not look great
because they weren't winning.
And you could tell by the press conferences that this is not the same Mourinho. And see, that's the point. It's like when the press conferences are almost indicative of how you're coaching in the room.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors where only the players can see. And Mourinho doing bad in press conferences it just gave us a view of what was going on back there, and he got fired. And the same thing when Chelsea won the league, and then then the year after he got fired, the shit that he was saying was like, this is not what coaches who are going to win this season should be saying. But I get what you're saying. There are examples of coaches that say the right thing and they're saying it in the back too. Yeah. And even once in a while, Pep seems a little confused, but I know he goes back and straightens that shit out. In the back room.
He doesn't lose the locker room like that. No.
But that Ollie looked weak, and that's like, as a guy, if to me it's like if they could find someone better, fine. Like I'm down to go down the road with this Ollie experiment, but if they could find someone just more decisive, like you should not back down to Mino Raiola in the press. You know, like I'm gonna call him. Are you gonna call him? I said, if I want to speak to Mino Raiola, I'll speak to him. Good answer. Are you gonna speak to him? No, I don't think I'm gonna. No, you fucking say you're gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
And I think the report is like, are you gonna speak to Paul? And then he kind of like sounded like he wasn't, and it's like,
why even say it? Just
so.
Yeah, these coaches. Yeah, you got to command it. Yeah, you got to become more commanding when you talk.
Yeah, more commanding. Yeah. Tottenham beat Villa on a lot of craziness and action in that game. Son scored 2 goals. Right? Yeah, late winner. Like the guy who scored the second goal for Villa, that defender, Engels. The ball dropped for him, and it was like Sunday football, in the park.
Just a sitter.
The ball just went through under his legs when he's supposed to, and then Son just pounced on it and foot raced to the goal and put it in the net. And
I like Son a lot.
Yeah,
he's dope to watch, man.
Yeah, he is.
That goal that he had, I think earlier this year,
I think it was against Burnley. I think.
Yeah, that was
like that.
gnarly goal that he scored.
Yeah.
And he's fun
the run,
to watch.
Right?
Yeah, long run.
Yeah, and Everton still is marching on up, but I think that was early. Beat Crystal Palace, and then we got the Man U, and then it's weird. West Ham plays Man City tomorrow. There's another game tomorrow in the Premier League.
What about? Oh, I guess.
This game was supposed to be played last week, and there was a storm.
Oh, it was postponed, and they're both out. They're not. Neither. Man City's not playing Champions League this week.
I guess not. So let's go to Champions League. Still, it just seems. Why didn't they just play him on the weekend? So Champions League coming up tomorrow is. I'm gonna skip the Atalanta Valencia.
Oh, Liverpool lost today. That's gnarly.
Nah, that's from before. That's from
today. Full time.
That's today?
Yeah, it says right there on the right.
Yeah, they are supposed.
They were there. I was on my way over here.
There's a game today on Monday?
Tuesday, bro. Champions League. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Champions League.
Oh, shit.
That's why I was surprised about like the time that you said. I was like, you don't want to watch Champions League? All right, cool. Let's
you know what? I just flew back into town on Monday, right?
Yeah.
And Usually I fly back into town from the gig.
Yeah, whenever we link
Sunday.
up. Yeah, whenever we link up, it's always like, hey, man, let's meet up for this game, and then we'll do the podcast afterwards.
No, I'm going to explain why I'm a day off, because normally I fly back into town on Sunday. So I thought all yesterday felt like Sunday, so today felt... And then I watched the Premiership game today on the... So today... Oh, shit. I watched the Premiership game yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, so everything's kind of thrown off.
That's pretty cool. They had
Dortmund beat PSG 2-1, and Atletico Madrid beat Liverpool. Shit.
Yeah, because I was watching that game on the. Well, I stopped by really quick to link up with one of the guys, and we talked some EPL before coming down here, and I saw Atletico Madrid. I think it was still 0-0. I don't remember what the score was, but that they finished off. That's a big win for them.
Oh, damn.
Who's playing tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Tottenham versus Leipzig. That's a good game.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
I think Leipzig can beat Tottenham. It's at Tottenham.
Yeah.
But that's a tough one. Like, the 3 out of these 4 games this week were like, until I just have, like, the Atletico versus Liverpool, that's just tough. Dortmund versus PSG, that's just like, you know, tough.
Are you in town for Man City Real Madrid next week?
What day is that?
Wednesday.
Yeah, I think I'm in town. Yeah.
That's a good game to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what you're up to, and we'll link up. We'll come out to one of the...
There's so many good games next week. Juventus versus Lyon, Chelsea versus Bayern, Napoli versus Barca. Those are all great watches.
Yeah. The 2 on Wednesdays are really doable for me. The Tuesday ones is tough for me because I had... But the Real Madrid Man City game will be fun to watch if you're able to. We'll see if we can.
Hit me up. I'll try to do that. So it's 3 now. So is there anything else you want to plug or say?
Wrap up yeah, man. Just I appreciate the support for your podcast, and then a lot of your fans are really like just support this podcast, you know, like the purchases that they make through our stuff that gets credited to you, and that's kind of that's why I keep pushing for your gear too, because you have money that's sitting there that we can put to use for you, and I really want to make your gear, and I really believe that your fans will really support like some merch for your podcast, and then. Yeah, like I just
to get my shit together, basically. All right,
that's good. Let me just do it, man. I'll take it. I'll handle everything, man. And just because I know you're super busy, man, but it's hard to catch you even just in town over here. But I appreciate the support over the years.
You have to come to the podcast for us to have a conversation.
Yeah, no, it's like I think this is the most we ever really talk about our LAFC games, and that's not starting for another.
We went to the bar, saw some games. You did the podcast before, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. We link up for the World Cup almost every women's and men's World Cup. Yeah, we always link up for that.
Yeah, and we got the Euros coming up this summer, so we'll be linking up for those games.
That's gonna be we'll get back on and we'll do another podcast over the European.
Yeah, soccer's how we met.
Yeah,
so soccer's how we stay in contact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I love that, man. Just meeting all sorts of different people, a lot of really interesting people. They're just like, you know, they love supporting the game, and I want to thank everybody. Check us out on thevolleyapparel.com. Instagram @onthevolleyapparel. Check out our gear. Anything you like, we can make you some stuff for your squad, your school, your club. Any coaches out there, we hook you up, and we do really affordable stuff. We do we have some fundraising options for teams as well that they do really well for other teams, and our stuff is really good quality out there, and very affordable to try to get these teams outfitted with some dope gear. So yeah, just hit us up, and I appreciate you having me on again. It's always a lot of fun to come out here, man, and just thanks for inviting me to the studio.
All right, my pleasure. And Aaron, we was talking earlier about baseball, and just can we get a little update on what's going on in spring training? Is it spring training?
Yeah, spring training just started. Most people got their Sunday or Monday. And now they're facing the media for the first time since the whole Astros cheating scandal came out. So everyone is weighing in and shitting on the Astros. And there's 1,000 players, so almost every single one of them.
Shitting on the Astros.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And what about like...
And the commissioner, too.
And they're shitting on the commissioner, too?
Yeah, because the punishment wasn't I mean, losing draft picks in this day and age is super hard, but and losing your manager, I think, was really big. But yeah, still not enough to some people.
You think Boston cheated too?
Yeah, their investigation's still happening. It should come out in the next couple of weeks, at least, at the latest. So, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they're gonna have to deal with it too.
Yeah, I don't follow baseball, but when they said draft picks, I was like, that's nothing. But somebody said, no, it's significant.
It's significant, yeah.
They're tools. They sell them, or they pick up a good player and just throw them in the minors and develop them. Like they can.
The Astros in particular, like a lot of their players are like high draft picks. So, yeah.
Well, they deserve that then, but I still think, you take those. You at least take the titles away.
Yeah, vacate that title. I think like the Dodgers don't need to have that as a win. As even on me as being a Dodger fan, I don't think you just need to award it to them. I just think that nobody wins. That's it.
Nobody wins.
Yeah, I wasn't so into that, but I'm coming around to that. Like, why just take it away? You can't take it back. You can't take the rings back. You can't ask for them. Like, turn your rings.
Yeah, I say take it back, and I was saying that in the beginning. Because I was like how they took Reggie Bush's Heisman, Oh yeah. And they took USC's. Did they take USC's championships, or what did they do?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they did. I think they might have vacated those titles too. They did do stuff. That's why Pete Carroll left right away.
Yeah, he bounced.
Yeah. And it's different though in pro sports. And I was reading an article yesterday that because the Major League Baseball's union is so strong, it's the strongest in sports. Like.
Right.
They can't. MLB could not have done much to anybody, because God, what was the reason why because the Astros ownership never. When Boston was caught in 2017 using Apple Watches in their dugout to steal signs, they sent an email around the entire league and said, "Hey, we know this is going on. Anyone else does this, big punishment's coming." Apparently that never got down to the players on the Astros. They still know it's wrong. They still know using a camera and all this stuff was wrong.
If you're hiding to do it, you know it's wrong.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
But legally, because they didn't pass that along to their players, from a union standpoint, you can't do
That's a technicality. I know they passed it down to their players. What type of bullshit is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently when they spoke to the commissioners, they all said they did not receive that word. But of course, they all knew it was wrong.
Yeah, they all knew it was wrong.
Yeah. But if it's legalese. It's like you can't punish someone if no one ever physically told them, like
they never got the memo.
What specific type of cheating not to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not supposed to cheat.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. Yeah, it's crazy. Like just because the union is so strong, and the union is the one who got them immunity, the players' immunity. So none of them could be punished if they spoke honestly. So it's a weird like no man's land of what can you do. But the players got to be allowed to come out and say, "Man, we really fucked this up."
What about a player from that Astro team? Like name a player from that Astro team that's on another team right now.
Jake Marisnik is on the Mets now.
So then he's in spring training with the Mets. And the Mets players are like, they have to, like, how must he feel on the team? And are the Mets players like, that's fucked up, and you're a part of this fucked upness?
The Astros already hired a new coach too, right?
Yeah,
because he got fired.
Dusty Baker.
Yeah, Dusty Baker doesn't know how to use a computer, so he's that old school.
Or an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah, I mean, everyone they're certainly dealing with it, and they're going to deal with it forever. But yeah, I think maybe you do vacate that title. Just nobody won it in 2017.
Damn, that's so crazy to have no champ.
They're still an amazing team. Like, nobody can take that away. The Astros are an amazing team. Even if you know what's coming, it's still hard to hit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you just got to take it away.
Damn.
Well,
they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it.
Yeah, it'd be hard to see them doing it now.
Yeah, because they made their decision. But this is going to be an interesting season to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Me neither.
But enjoy.
I'll keep you guys.
Yeah, keep me posted. Because it's just so funny that Man City has their legal issues and a ban, but the same thing is happening in another sport, in a different sport, but on
They're
another
punishing,
continent.
yeah.
But it's like there's so many similarities always between these sports.
And they're
Yeah.
punishing it a lot differently too.
Yeah,
But there's nothing to take away from Man City. It's just keep them.
you could
from
take
stuff.
you could take away their titles, but they chose not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you cheated to get them,
Yeah.
are they really
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to take away Man City's titles.
Or even do that. Ban them from future titles. Like just like, hey, there's 2 years. But how
Like
do
what
you
they-
keep? There's no relegation, nothing in baseball. So there's nothing to keep them from. Like you can't just. What are they going to play and then they're eliminated from the playoffs, or starting so many games behind? Like
Yeah.
starting 10 games below. Like just
That'd be kind of crazy. I don't know. Yeah, even giving everyone like saying, "Hey, listen, tell us the truth. You're all getting 20 games, like suspension.
Oh, suspension.
to
Yes.
start the year or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, and no matter what team you're on, it's gonna hurt the Astros more. Obviously,
Right.
I don't know how you'd recover from having.
Yeah. Then that's
Your
almost like
10 best
starting 20
guys.
games in a hole, because then
Yeah.
you got to start your
or suspend
your
the
farm
whole team for 20 games. Just like you guys only play 62 games out of the 82. You know?
Suspend the players who did it. That's fair. That's a good idea. Because like even with Man City in the Premier League, they may face a point deduction. I don't know in what season. I don't know if it's the season coming up or the this one that's being played. But once the FA has their saying, then we'll see what happens if they take points. So yeah, that's fair. The players who cheated, you can't get the rings, get the money, and then
yeah.
nothing. And then the coaches get fired. They keep the yeah. So I agree with that 100%. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So this weekend I was at the DC Improv. Had 5 out of 6 shows sold out. A lot of love from DC. Great club, well-run establishment, amazing shows. Crowds were live, and had a good time. And this weekend I'm gonna be at the Blue Room in Springfield, Missouri.
Go Cards.
Go Cards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's your team?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be out there near your team, and it's for 1 show Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Just go to my website, ianedwardscomedian.com, and you can click the link and buy tickets, or just go to the blueroom.com. I'm sure that's what their website is. What else would it be?
I like your new site, man.
Yeah. Go to the website, see the brand new photos.
Oh yeah, man. See that Soccer Comic Rant, Women Are Miraculous tour. That's the tour. Come see that material. There's some dates, and then click on the other thing for more dates. And so getting roommates.
The Roommates is hilarious, man.
Thanks.
Like your shit is. I share that with the homies, man. That shit is so good. Like I love watching it. That my homie from the hundreds, he's the one that comes to the shows with us, and he's always sending me those, and just kind of like it's my favorite one is the Wi-Fi password.
Oh, the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, man.
Wi-Fi is funny. Yeah, that was a legit one for sure. Yeah, so go to Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic and check out the roommate sketches. They're also on the on my YouTube page, Ian Edwards Comic, or Ian Soccer Comic Rant Edwards.
Is this on your YouTube as well? The
Yeah.
podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The podcast is on the YouTube. The video's there. And also I'll be at Side Splitters in Tampa on March 12th and the 15th. And the last stop in Calgary, coming out to get my balls froze. And March 25th to the 28th. I've been to Canada in a minute. That should be a lot of fun. And then on April 16th, I'll be at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. So at the Comics Lounge, and right after that, go to the Sydney Comedy Festival for Monday, April 20th. Then I come back, go straight to Moon Tower, and then the Grand Gerard, May 8th in Toronto. So I'll be back in Canada. Then also Rumors in Canada. That's June, and yeah, so at least that'll be sunny. So let's go to ianedwardscomedian.com, check out these dates. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank producer Aaron Brungardt. Appreciate you. Elvis.
Thanks a lot, man.
My
Always
dude,
a pleasure,
man. Pleasure, man.
Let's
Thanks
watch some
for
football soon.
Thanks for the gear. Let's watch some football soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, football's how we met. Football's how we talk. Peace, y'all.